Welcome to Cash Call. Listen live as expert sales trainers give actionable feedback on real calls while you learn coaching tips directly from the professionals. Cash Call, everybody. Dale Archdekin Brian Curtis back again for another week. Good to see all of you. Brian is still trying to outdo me, even though I have a new haircut. He threw a jacket on. The guy really tries hard, but he can't do it.
He tries hard, but he fails, is what I just heard there. But
Yeah.
wow, a little, it hurt a little bit, but that's okay. I'm grown. I'll be okay.
I barely fit my ego into this video, Brian. So just, take it for what it's worth, sir. But last week you didn't get to play your call because we talked too long about my call. So I've got one today that we can listen to. What do you have for us today?
I have an interesting call in that this call was actually 11 minutes long. I chopped it up quite a bit, so there's no longer 11 minutes in it. But it's interesting to me. I think a lot of agents would have lasted about a minute and a half on this call. So
can't wait to hear this.
I'm not ready to tell the agent that he's ready to be the agent of the year. That being said, he really took an opportunity to just try and continue to work with the guy. There's definitely some opportunities for improvement, but I love the effort because oftentimes when you hear what you'll hear at the beginning of this call, agents just give up. So I love it I love success, obviously, when we get those outcomes. But at a minimum, I love people who are, hey, I've got somebody live. They're willing to talk to me. I'm going to talk to them until I've got nothing left to say or they've got nothing left to say. And I love that versus, oh, crap, this lead's not very good. I want to get off the phone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, all right. Whenever you're ready, I'll go ahead and share my screen and get this played.
Go for it.
All right.
What's interesting is my staff has this new software they want us to use, especially since we're going to pre-record, and it can record our audio individually, and then it will play the audio over each other so that we, like with Zoom where only one of us can talk at a time, and it's kind of weird. We'll get that fixed.
That's great.
We should do this for our backgrounds. What the fuck, Brian? Why haven't we done this before?
I don't know. Dale, honestly, sometimes I just get a wild hair and I was like, I wonder if I can do this. So anyway, we'll play with it. I'm sure the editing team will figure out even better than what I've got here. So anyway, with that in mind, let me go ahead and play the call and Dale and I will chop it up. Give me a thumbs up when you can hear it.
That's right. With Curtis Realty Group, I just got a notification you were checking out some property on Realtor.com. So wanted to reach out and find out how I can help you.
Well, I don't know. I am in the market, and I just had a pretty frustrating call with, I guess, the Realtor app.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So here's the deal that I'm trying to find, and I don't know if this is what you're calling me about, because I'm looking at a couple things, and what I'm trying to find, there's a piece of property, supposedly this piece of property on the Realtor app, a couple acres, and it says it's on 05th Street in Fayetteville. And I don't know if you're the listing agent or not. I'm trying to get hold of the listing agent for this property. I don't want to go through a separate agent. I want to try to deal directly with the seller, the selling agent.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't find the property, so I don't even know if I'm interested in the property. It doesn't appear to be accurate. And I don't know, are you the listing agent for that property?
I am not, but do you mind me asking why you want to talk to the list agents?
Wait, I don't hear your sound, Brian.
That was really the first opportunity the agent had to speak. I don't like the question. I don't know how you feel about the question.
He said, are you the listing agent? My personal preference, when that question first arises in a conversation, and how far are we into this call?
Well, it's hard to say. So we're probably about 2 minutes in. I chopped a bunch of it up because they just talked and talked and talked and talked. So I just cut out the relevant part. Again, this was an 11-minute call and we're down. And when I'm done chopping it up, there's only 5 minutes left. So,
okay. So let me preface what I'm about to say. I don't like to say that I'm not the listing agent. I don't like to try and question them immediately about why they want to do that. So I work for a brokerage, right? My license hangs with a brokerage that oftentimes there are listings associated with that broker whom I work for, but I am not the listing agent. So when I say, if somebody like that asks me, hey, are you the listing agent for this? I might give a sort of dodge answer, which is, I'm not sure, because there are a lot of listings within our brokerage. We may represent that property. Now I'm gonna pivot to a question. What's important about that property, or what's important about, or what would you like to ask the listing agent, right? Some kind of question that redirects a little bit. I didn't say I am, I didn't say I'm not, and provided that I didn't bring the damn thing up and look at it and know that I'm not, I can truthfully say I don't know whether I, under my broker, are the listing agents or not.
And I agree with everything you just said. If for whatever reason it gets disclosed, for lack of a better term, that I'm not the listing agent, here's a question I think I want everyone, and there's probably some exception to this, but stop asking people why. And I'm not saying you can't ask that same question in a different way, but when you say to somebody, why do you want to talk to the listing agent? Now, obviously he didn't use the tone that I used, but that's what I heard. Like, why the hell do you need to talk to the listing agent? I'm just as good. I'm better. There's more bet. So, but why implies guilt, believe it or not. And from that thing, so why do you want to do that? Okay. Hey, out of curiosity, how can I help, or what's the benefit of talking to the listing agent is a much better question than why do you want to talk to the listing agent? What I want to say is because I do. Jackass. Yeah. It doesn't say, hey, how can I help you? It says, why are you being dumb?
Yeah. Another thing that we can say agreed with that, along with what I was saying, is that property may be listed with us. What questions do you have for the listing agent?
Perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah. And again, I want to say 9 out of 10 agents will do exactly what he did. If they're going to stick in there, why do you want to talk to a listing agent? So remember, that puts up a wall and it creates a potential problem. So again, avoid those why questions, because, we talk about current tense questions a lot. A why question is the exact opposite of a current tense question. Now I have to justify and rationalize to you, who we've known for 2 minutes, why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is not a good way to build rapport.
Yeah, we practice making our students rephrase their questions without the word why. So what, how, when, etc.
Yes, exactly. So everybody who's watching, if you're a why person, there's a better way to ask the same question. Remove the word why, if that's what I would say. So,
yeah.
Let me play a little bit more now.
Yeah, I don't want to have multiple parties dealing with this. Can you look to see if you see that property?
You said it's 05th Street?
Yeah.
Is the address 0?
Hopefully it's you or your company. If it's you or your company, we're in a great position to talk. But I don't want to waste your time and anybody else's time if it's not. I have no idea if I'm even interested in it, and I'm not interested in signing agreements with a listing agent. I don't need buyer representation at this point. I may in the future, but I don't need it right now. Okay.
Yeah. So, the reason I ask why you want to talk to the listing agent is because the listing agent is going to be.
So rather than what your agent's about to do, when this guy said all the things he said, if it's your company or you, that's great. We can talk. I don't want to sign a buyer rep with another agent. I don't want too many parties involved. I would just say, hey, great. It sounds like you want to have a direct hand in this process and you want to be involved from the beginning to the end. I totally respect that. And our clients really appreciate that about the way that we work. So I'm more than happy to work with you that way. Right. Then I would move on. What questions do you have about that property? Or did you want to just go see it? Once I can find the damn thing, did you want to go see it? Or do you have questions about it? Right. Like that's probably what I would have done in that situation. Hey, you're right. Absolutely. I got you. That's exactly how we operate. And you're in the right spot. Just going to yes you until we can get face to face.
And one of the things that it literally just came to me as we were listening to this, even though I've listened to this call a couple times as I've chopped it up, is my guess is this guy has talked to a bunch of agents who tried to convince him to work with them. That's what I'm hearing, because he must have said 5 times, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste your time. I don't waste, he is trying to be nice and help us out. But It's not, so I agree. Let's be a little bit more direct. Hey, what information can I get for you? And here's an interesting question. There's no address in my market, I'm going to guess in yours either, that is zero.
No.
So there's an opportunity to say, hey, I'm not sure that this person listed it right. Hey, I'm kind of an expert at working with people here. Doesn't necessarily, I can set it up so it won't, you have to be very careful. I don't want to be in a NAR lawsuit here. But, hypothetically, I can help you without any expense to you, depending on the situation. I would love to why don't we just go look at the property? And I appreciate that you're worried about my time, but I have time this afternoon. Why don't we just go take a look at, some version of that, get this guy off of, I only want to talk to listing, moving in that direction. So.
Yeah, he was super fixated.
Obviously representing the seller of the property and.
I understand all that. Yeah. No, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm fairly proficient in the buying and selling.
Okay.
Pause it.
Well, I just want to make sure.
Pause it. When you hear all the stuff that comes out of that lead's mouth, where they think they know everything and how it works, don't try to educate them. Do not try to educate them unless you get to a point where the conversation will not move forward and they're going to get off that phone based on what their beliefs are. And it's your last chance. If it's your last chance and it's either change their mind or they leave that conversation, then you start trying to educate them, or they've asked for the education or asked for your opinion, right? But what your agent's doing here or this person's doing here is worthless, right? Because the guy thinks he knows it. You can't learn anything when you think you know everything, and this guy thinks he knows everything.
Which is why, theoretically, if we would have asked the question a minute ago, what's the benefit of working with the listing agent for you? We might have been able to handle the objection, if you will, because they might say, well, look, I'm going to negotiate a better price. Okay. Actually, in our MLS, the way it works is it's against the rules for you to give a buyer a discount on the listing commission. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but my MLS, you have to disclose what's called variable commission, which means that if I represent the buyer and seller, I listed the house for 6%, I have to take 6%. I cannot legally discount without violating my MLS agreement if I represent both.
Well, I'm being recorded right now. To my awareness, that's not a thing in PA, but if I find out later, we'll edit this part out.
Yeah. We have to disclose variable commission. I think that's an important concept. And again, you need to understand your market, your MLS. I'm not saying that, but that's a great tool that I use often and go, look, I can really appreciate that you want to save money. Here's the problem. There's a contract between the seller and the listing agent, and part of that contract is the total commission, which is not negotiable without a violation of our MLS. So whether you get representation or not, the seller is going to pay the exact same amount of commission. Oh, okay. Because a lot of times that's what people are looking for. Well, I'll go to the listing agent. They'll cut their commission, give some back to me, or some version of that is why I hear that quite often. So,
got it. Is that way in Colorado too, or just Arkansas?
It's a really good question, Dale.
Okay.
I've never closed a transaction in Colorado, so not necessarily my area of expertise. I am licensed. I can technically sell a house, but I've chosen not to because I don't feel comfortable with that, just because I just haven't studied it and decided that I'd rather do this. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get it. What I'm ultimately trying to figure out is, and I don't want to waste your time. I'm just trying to be real respectful to you and your company. I don't want to waste you guys' time. I don't even know who you are, but I do have some interest.
We could almost make a drinking game around that. I don't want to waste your time.
I'd be drunk.
Yeah.
In at least finding the address, because it's not accurate. The post, and it may not even be a real posting. Maybe something.
Number. So I'm guessing that's the case with this one, because in the MLS it's just listed 5th Street, Fayetteville, AR. So I guess it probably has not been assigned yet.
What this is my cell phone. You're welcome to send me a text with your name and phone number, and I'll be happy to call you if I need further assistance. I'd rather really not waste a ton of your time. I'm open to dealing with you if you have some things that you represent. But at this point, I'm selling some land in Fayetteville, and I'm trying to take some of those proceeds and buy some additional land. But land deals are pretty straightforward. I'm not looking for housing or anything. But again,
So there's a real interesting point that he just made, which is 100% incorrect.
What's that?
Land deal. This is raw land, by the way. Land deals are really straightforward. I can tell you in the last 12 months, I've had 2 land deals that we had to negotiate with the neighbor because of an easement issue, because of property lines that weren't drawn correctly. We literally had to pay to buy a little slice of land. It's interesting that this perception is, I'm glad that you've had no problems, but I might have gone into a third party story here. Bob, I don't remember this guy's name. Bob, I can appreciate that. There's a lot of deals that are completely straightforward, but I can tell you just in the last 12 months in Fayetteville, which is actually where this house is, I've had 2 issues with land because of, how people drew property lines and how they didn't do great jobs with legal descriptions back when they were originally established. So honestly, I'm super happy that you haven't had any problems, but there are lots of things that come up and you're going to probably want to work with somebody potentially who has that expertise. Can you see some benefit in that? I'm not sure if it would have helped because, again, this guy's pretty sure of himself, but there's an opportunity.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm just going to fast forward to the last 30 seconds and let us finish this up, and then
you haven't seen already.
If you want to just send me a couple emails just to kind of give where you're at, I'll be happy to reply to you.
Okay.
No, I know about that one, or no, and if you want to spend a little bit of time on it to try to find something for me, go for it. I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to say, maybe don't make it your top priority.
Yeah. So. No, I appreciate your honesty, man. I really do. Yeah. I'd rather talk to somebody honest any day. So, yes, sir.
Yeah. All right.
I'd rather talk to somebody who's actually being straightforward with me and not doing this. But that's just me. I do appreciate, again, this was an 11-minute phone call. The agent did not give up. He didn't necessarily win, but I want to give him a 10 out of 10 for effort on that. And I mean that sincerely.
Did he get clearly from the guy what he was looking to do, why he's looking for land? Is he building? Is he subdividing? Is he flipping it? What the hell is he doing?
The guy likes to buy land is the short version. He's bought 3 or 4 properties and he likes to buy it. And I'm not sure what he was going to do with it, to be honest, but the guy buys and sells land, which to me is not an exciting thing to do. I'm not going to, it's kind of like investors who buy houses who are looking for just buying stuff for steals. I'm not against that. I just don't want to work with them because it's you do 10 times the amount of work to get paid the same amount. So I appreciate what this agent did. I think he did a great job. I would have probably given up earlier.
Yeah. Sometimes the people are not a fit. I mean, it's not every person that we talk to we're going to do business with. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so I have an interesting one here. The teenage daughter registers on a website. The agent gets her on the phone, and then turns out that it's the mom who wants to move out of the dad's house, and they are, let's say, how would you say this? What would be politically correct to say they are not very sophisticated people? Let's put it that way. Brian. Not very experienced in the real estate buying world, I'd say. So let me play this.
Let's hear it.
Let me know when you can hear it.
Hello, this is with Realty. We just got your registration on the website. I was just wondering if you really did have a 90-day time frame that you wanted to move in.
Now she's referencing the information that was put in when the person registered on the website, which I think is a good thing to do. But I think you and I both know that a lot of times people check boxes or don't pay attention to stuff. So my point is, be prepared for this lead to not know what the hell you're talking about. And let's listen to this.
Well, and that's before you said, that's why I would probably use a different intro script.
Yeah. What would you do?
I would just do the same standards to pay-per-click lead. It sounds like website lead somehow. Hey, I saw that you were shopping on our website. I'm just reaching out to see if you guys are looking to make a move soon, or if you're just window shopping. That is the script. And here's the other thing about using the same script. You get good at it. And I'm not saying this person isn't good, because her script was smooth. In no way, shape, or form was I like, boy, she stumbled and bumbled over that. But here's the thing. I can say the script I just said. I could say it 100 times in a row and get it right, because I've said it so many times. It's almost like breathing. So there are times to switch up your script, but I was going to suggest, if one's really working for you, stick with it. You don't have to get creative.
I agree, but I also think there's not a problem with adding in information that was entered on the website. And the only reason I'm saying that is because sometimes you get those people that are very literal. And if they purposely check the damn thing and you call them and say, hey, do you want to buy now, or are you just window shopping? And they're like, I entered the info on your website, you idiot. Like I said, I was buying in 90 days. The problem is you're going to run across Karen like that, who's like, oh, I checked the box. What's wrong with you people? So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I'd probably just tack it on. We'd use the same script that we always do. You registered on my website to look at homes for sale. Are you planning on buying in the next few months, or just window shopping at this point? It looks like you checked the box that says you're buying in the next 90 days. Is that accurate?
So I love that. I actually love that. But again, I love how you did it, and you basically let them know that you didn't make that up. It was the information that they gave you. And I think that's important. It's kind of like, you should always say the lead source when you're doing a script. Like, or we want them to know that it's our job to respond to them, right? Like, right. You put this in here. I'm not annoying you. I'm answering your question because you did it. So I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
This is your fault, not mine.
Exactly.
So let's hear what happens.
Move where? Did you just register on the website to look at homes?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you looking to move in the next 90 days?
Now, you've already ascertained that this person is confused, okay? Salesperson. You've already pretty much figured out this lady doesn't know what the hell you're talking about. Is it a bit lost? So she asked, are you looking to move in the next 90 days? That's where I would have expanded on it a little bit. When your information came in, the box was checked that said you're going to be purchasing in the next 90 days. Is that the case? Did you mean to do that? Right? So I'm just using more words, you know what I mean? Because clearly this person is not the sharp end of the stick anyway. So I got to explain it.
Yeah. And that's, again, sometimes, and I don't know when this lead came in, but maybe this person filled this out at 10 o'clock last night, and now it's 9 o'clock the next morning. They don't remember. I mean, I don't know about you, but 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning, they're a long ways apart for me.
So what you're telling me is when you're on the Home Shopping Network late at night buying meatball makers, you don't remember that the next morning. Is that what's going on?
Occasionally stuff shows up at my house, and I wonder where. I'm kidding. I'm not a late night accidental shopper, but yeah. I mean, the end of the day is, people go on the internet and they check stuff and they look at stuff, and stuff gets filled in, and they don't always know.
Yep.
In the next 90 days, no.
Okay. What looks like a time frame that would work for you, or what's something that brought you to the website to look at homes today?
Listen to this.
I'm good, lady. I just wanted to look at some houses. I don't want to move right now.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
So let's break this down a little bit. What gets revealed in this call? I'm good, lady. I'm not trying to buy a house. It turns out that this is a 17-year-old.
Oh, really?
She was looking for the mom. The mom wants to move. The mom lives in the dad's house, the grandfather's house, right?
Okay.
17-year-old daughter's online, enters the info, is looking with mom, and then unfortunate agent calls 17-year-old, right, who entered her phone number. And so this is the conversation that ensues. We figure that out a little bit later. And look, this is an 8-minute call. So this agent stayed in the fight and kept going.
Hey, we've got agents who are committed during this of cash call. I like it.
Yeah. But here's what I would do. I want to go back to this point. Clearly the gaps in the responses, young sounding or mousy tone of the person that they're talking to, and just the general, I don't know where I am or what I'm doing coming back from this lead. We need to take control much faster. And I think I'm going to show you at what point I want this agent to flip the conversation and talk about who the agent is, what the agent does, what their purpose is, if necessary, or what their purpose is not, right? Just to give lots of context to the conversation and make the lead feel more comfortable in having whatever conversation ensues. So let's go back here.
Okay. Were you looking to move in the next 90 days?
In the next 90 days, no.
There. Okay. Now, we've hit twice now. This person doesn't really know what's going on. You know, we're very close to hitting sort of this wall of the next thing that happens is that they're going to tell me they don't want to buy a house, lady, right? So this, I think, is where I flip the script backwards and I say, okay, hey, listen, I'm a local agent. I live in this area. We have a website that you can just come and look at houses for fun, or if you're thinking about making a move at some point, either buying or renting or whatever you're thinking about doing, it doesn't really matter. And I just wanted to reach out to you and find out who you are and maybe what some of your plans are, even so that I could direct you on where to look on my website, right? What's your name? That's where I
Yeah,
jump.
no, I absolutely love it. And I love this idea of we didn't get the right answer. In other words, we asked some questions, we didn't get the right answer. We need to switch gears. And that I'm not even, granted, we have a little bit more information because you've listened to this call and you've told us a little bit about it, but anytime something starts to go sideways, doing the same thing is not a good idea. And in essence, she did the same thing again, which put her further in the hole again. Between, me and the audience, it didn't matter. It's a 17-year-old. She couldn't buy the house anyway. But you never know. And again, we didn't know this person was 17 at this point in time. So yeah, switching to, hey, let me just take a step back. It sounds like you may not even remember this. This happens a lot. Out of curiosity, are you considering are you trying to look at houses? Oh yeah, I was just bored at night. Oh, cool. So, just switch gears, switch out of salesperson mode and switch into curiosity mode, trying to figure out what the hell this person's trying to do.
Right. Yeah. And what's funny is you said, I gave you a lot of info and we've listened to it. My reaction to that initial part, that was the same reaction I had when I first listened to this, because I felt the way that it was going. I'm not saying that you were wrong in any way. Yeah. What I'm saying is that after hearing this so many times, you get a sense for this stuff, right? It's like, okay. And so a lot of times what I'll do is I'll give students rules. So if I had to give you a rule, if you get 2 confused answers back from a lead, you are now in charge of that conversation. You have done a poor job of being in charge of that conversation, and you are now deputized. You're required to dispel all of the confusion and make it very clear what the playing field is and who the players are and why you're there, right? That's what you got to do.
You can hear the short, and I picked up on it just like you did, the short, almost confused answers. Like that, if we're going to continue with those answers, we're even if it's a person who wants to buy $1 million house, we're not going to get anywhere. So regardless, to your point, whether this was a 17-year-old or a 27-year-old, it doesn't matter. We have to change the plan because what we're doing isn't working.
Yep. Now I want to fast forward to when we have the mom on the phone and we start getting a little more discovery, because the daughter
actually got the mom.
Yeah, the daughter is like flapping in the breeze here with this salesperson, and after she's like, "Hey, lady, I don't want to buy a house," I think the mom overhears and like shouts from the background that she wants to get moved, right? And so then at some point the mom gets on the phone and she's talking with the salesperson. So I'm just gonna jump forward.
That's awesome.
Yes. Okay. Do you feel like that's not good?
Oh, wait. Yeah, this was a great objection hand.
Okay. Nope. I understand. Looking to get out of the current home you're in.
I need a home. Okay. I
I have no credit, so there's no sense even trying.
I have no credit, so there's no sense of even
Was,
trying.
was that the daughter or was that the mom?
That's the mom. Mom says, I have no credit. There's no sense in trying. And listen to how the agent responds. This was actually good.
Okay, no, I understand. And you know for sure, like you have no credit.
I have credit. It's like 610.
This is
Oh, nice.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel like that's not good?
Do you feel like that's not good? She did a great thing. She asked a question instead of starting to talk. Oh, I can get you financed at 610, no problem. She asked a question. You feel like that's not good because you need to get a little more info. If you try to jump on that and try to like start drilling home that you can get this thing done and closing them, a lot of times there's going to be some sort of additional baggage, additional objections, or additional conditions going on that you want to get the full game out on the table. Because what I like to tell our students is you only get the one chance to close the first time. And after you close the first time, they're on to you, right? They already know we're salespeople. First time you close them, they're like, oh, the game is you want to meet with me, or you want me to work with you, or you want me to sign something, right? So it just kind of.
Here's my question here that I like. Oh, 610. Okay. I can really appreciate that. With that in mind, is that a credit score you pulled yourself, or did you have a mortgage lender pull that for you? The reason I want to ask that question is I want to know how far along this path she's gone. And by the way, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be I pulled it myself. And so all the agents who are going to go, oh, I can get it done at 610. Guess what? That was Credit Karma's 610. Their real credit score is 560. And so, but yeah, no, I like where she went, so that's, consider that to be a good credit score. Some version of that is awesome. I like the idea of, hey, out of curiosity, did you pull that yourself or did somebody else pull it for you?
Yep. Now let's keep going because she did insert another good, or I think there was a lost opportunity for a good question.
Yeah, I already tried it once, and
I already tried it once, meaning already tried buying a house once.
It was just before COVID happened. I tried to get a house. I went all through the inspection and everything. I was getting ready to, and the program I was in, COVID hit, and they shut down the program. And I couldn't get my house that I actually paid everything for.
I couldn't get the house I paid everything for. Now, I want a question here, right? I want some empathy and I want a question, but listen to what the agent does.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, because when you say 610, that
no empathy, no question. She goes back to the credit score and I can solve this for you. The reason that I want the empathy and the question, something like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that happen. Did you lose a lot of money? Right? Or whatever. Like I want to get, because think about it this way, Brian. If I'm going to try to convince this person to go through this process again, if she lost money, if she had a horrible experience, if she swore off buying, I need to get that kind of objection crap out on the table so that we can deal with it before I try to close you again.
Yeah, I agree. And again, empathy. Oh, that really sucks. Unfortunately, a lot of people dealt with a lot of stuff when COVID happened. And I wish you were the only person who told me that. But, out of curiosity, tell me a little bit more about what happened there so that we can do that. And eventually what we're going to want to get to, and I don't know if she gets there or not, is, and to me, it's a question, not a tell. Oh, I can get it done 610. Hey, out of curiosity, I work with some people who help people get their credit score up as well as just to help them develop a plan. I can't promise you that I'm going to be able to get you in a house here in the next 60 days. But what I can promise you is if we meet and we get together that, sometime in the next 6 to 12 months, based on what you're telling me, I could probably help you. With that in mind, I'd love to just get together and, just let's spend 30 minutes together trying to figure it out, some version of that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So the way that one ended is she was trying to get her set up with the lender, like to have a call with the lender, obviously. I'm not going to play the rest of the call, but it was she took the slow boat to China to get that done. And so I think it could have been sped up quite a bit because, essentially that's the only thing that you can do is get somebody to talk to a lender unless you know how to, unless you can pre-qual and pull credit yourself. But you really have to get that done.
Yeah. And I really think we need to make sure as agents that we are familiar with the programs. So 610, I mean, best case scenario, you're getting an FHA loan, and maybe that's not the best thing for the person. Maybe, spending 90 days and getting their credit score up to 680, which sometimes can be easy, sometimes can be very challenging. So it's about saying, look, I'm not trying to get a sale right now. I'm trying to do what's best for you. And what I would love to do is figure out we've got different programs for different people, but I would need some more information. So why don't we get together and we can get you into one of these programs that will help you get what you need? How does that sound?
Yep.
But again, just trying to help them, not trying to close them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Brian, I don't know about you, but we looks like we're at time for today. Excellent cash call episode, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Dale Archdekin, Brian Curtis back again. And we'll see you all in the next episode.
See everybody.
Thanks for listening to Cash Call today. If you like what you heard, come check us out at smartsalescoaching.com, and we'll be back again next week.